My name is Byron, and in today's automotive review, we're going to be covering the 2024 Ford Bronco Big Bend. For the past month and a half, I've had press loans from Ford. I had the Mustang Dark Horse, I had the Ranger Raptor, and now we've got this. And as always, we'll take a look at the exterior, the interior, then we'll go out and take it for a drive. The exterior color is red hot pepper metallic tint coat. That's a $495 option. We've got the Sasquatch package, the mid package, and a couple other goodies on this, bringing the total MSRP aspect up to just over $55,000. Let's go ahead and take a closer look up front. Up top, we've got our trail markers. We've also got our carbonized gray painted grille with the white Bronco lettering. We have the LED lighting option. It's about $795. That looks nice and crisp, really ties in the front of this vehicle. Not a whole lot of airflow going on right up through here. You get a bit down on the bottom portion. Now, interestingly enough, I kind of looked in here to see there is airflow to this front radiator, but it's almost like the blinds on a window, so it looks like they can actually shut at some point. I guess that'd be good if you're off-roading, perhaps going through some water. That might be nice to have that kind of close off. We don't have the modular front steel bumper. This is all plastic, as is this portion down through here, so you may not want to go too hard on the off-roading. We do have the Sasquatch package. We got the bigger tire, we got the more aggressive look on it, but unfortunately no steel bumper. That is an option you can get, and it's an option that I probably would opt in for. Let's go ahead and take a look at the profile. As part of the Sasquatch package, you get high clearance fender flares. I think the stance of this vehicle is great. It almost looks like it comes with a leveling kit from the factory. Perfect stance on it, perfect ride height. These 35-inch tires look fantastic, as well as the 17-inch beadlock capable wheels. This really gives it a nice aggressive stance. You'll notice that this one does not have the side steps. Some people think it kind of looks naked without it. I think it looks just fine because this bottom portion down here is body painted, so it kind of all ties in nicely. You got the Big Bend Sasquatch indication here. I think it'd be kind of cool for a little Easter egg, because there's a lot of Easter eggs on it, to put a little Sasquatch on top of the mountain, but nevertheless, it's still a nice badge. This particular spec has the hard top option. The soft top looks all right, but I really do prefer the hard top because it's all fully removable. You can take off the full top basically, you can take off the doors and really just kind of strip this thing down. Since you can take the doors off, all the doors are completely frameless, so nothing opens up with the vehicle except the actual glass. All the B-pillars, C-pillar stays on the vehicle. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rear. This metallic paint is really popping in the direct sunlight. That looks beautiful. Right below the fender flare, connected to the bumpers, kind of like a high raised mud flap that kind of extends off the side of the bumper. Tail lights resemble that of a B for Bronco. You got your Bronco kind of logo right there. If we open up this rear hatch, this will open up 150 degrees, so just 30 degrees short of being perfectly 180 degrees parallel. You've got different spots. You can put accessories back here. You've got some Easter eggs down through here, and you can kind of flip open this back hatch, giving you full access to the rear of the vehicle. You got the two tow hooks in the front. You've got this one rear one down through here, a cutout on the bumper, so when the rear tire's on the back, it has room to sit flush. Got a cool little lasso Easter egg on both sides. That's where you can tie things down. Now this is really nice. I don't remember this back portion where you flip this up feeling this good. It's got kind of almost like a rubbery, not sticky, but just a nice texture to it. It definitely doesn't feel cheap at all. And this little pull tab here is really nice. That feels really smooth. I'm actually surprised. Sometimes this kind of clanks up, and fumbles about, but this is really, really nice. This is where you can put your jack stand and other little safety accessories you might need. You've got a 12-volt plug back through here. On the back side of this body painted C-pillar, you've got a bottle opener. I think a lot of people might forget about that, but if you're kind of tailgating, you can just kind of clink down through here and open up your bottle. It's only on the driver's side though. You got a 60-40 split on the rear seats. You can pull right here to push them down. Just make sure your front seats are far enough up, of course, but that'll give you full access to the rear of this vehicle. Not a whole lot more to touch on. Here's some speakers back through here, and again, you can pop off the entire top of this vehicle and really just experience all it has to offer. Let's go ahead and take a closer look up front at the interior. Also very important, make sure you shut the glass first and then shut the back. Otherwise, if you have this down and try and shut it, you will likely hit this third brake light in the tire, messing up your glass. Let's take a look at the interior. Here is the key fob. Fairly simple, very similar to the past two key fobs I've had from the other Ford vehicle. We've got the all-weather floor mats, a little bit of cargo netting here, and this is where you actually lift when you're taking off the doors, if that's what you choose to do. You've got the Bronco kind of glistening there, and a starry night with some shooting stars on that 8-inch instrument cluster display. This is 12 inches, nicely embedded in there. I really do appreciate that. It's just kind of seamlessly integrated. Right above that, we've got our buttons for the front and rear locking differentials, traction control, and hazards. Now, since we're in the Big Bend, you unfortunately don't get those auxiliary switches up top like you get on some of the higher trim level models, but you do get a spot to store your sunglasses. We've got the Bronco etched in here on the passenger side dash. Couple little Easter eggs. You got an American flag right there on the shift knob. You got the Bronco etched in there, and then this little badge of honor, so to speak, there. It's designed and engineered in Dearborn, Michigan, USA, built at a Michigan assembly plant. So made in America. A leather wrapped steering wheel, Bronco indication there, and I would love if they put something down here. If it said Big Bend or Ford or Bronco or just kind of anything etched in there, I feel like would be nice. This is vinyl, this black and gray, but it almost tricks you. I mean, I thought it was leather until I looked at the spec sheet. So this is what comes on the Big Bend, and I think it looks, personally, just fine. Easter egg up here. That's the coordinates to where Ford does some testing. I'll let you guys search and research that a bit if you like. But this is how you pop off the top. You kind of pull that out, pop this down, and then you can take it off. This does have the sound deadening, so it's kind of like a thick carpet-like material to help reduce some noise, because this vehicle does not have a fully enclosed roof, so to speak. This is going to be where all your window controls are. Couldn't put them on the door because that would require too much electronics, because these doors are fully removable. So it's really easy to remove them. That's why they centralized all the buttons and controls. Here are your mirror controls. Right through here is where you've got your plugs. You've got USB-C and USB. Little storage trough through here. This is your go over any terrain mode selection. So you turn that to go between the different modes, and that'll change whether it's 2-wheel or 4-wheel. We'll go ahead and start the vehicle. As you see here, the start-stop button looks like that of the front headlights. So we'll go ahead and fire it up, and we'll take a quick look at some of the different features that we have to go through. So you can use these buttons to go through different settings of the vehicle and kind of configure a few different things on here. So if we take a look at this, you've got trip and fuel, off-road, navigation, phone, audio, and settings. And then you can do My View, where you can customize and configure it exactly how you like. This is digital, and the part on the left over there is analog. So kind of a cool little blend of the two. I didn't really mess a whole lot with this. You do have the enhanced voice control if you want to use that. I really just used the volume buttons, and that was honestly about it. The touchscreen works nice. On my scale of 1 to 10 from the buttery, soft, smooth test, I'm going to give it probably about a 5. I've felt some that just feel a bit softer and easier on the finger, but nevertheless it does its job. There's just not a whole lot of of crazy things to look through. This was one interesting thing that I've never really noticed. You can actually press this.
Record any likes, dislikes, or suggestions about the experiences with your vehicle, and then select send.
So you can basically talk about your car and then send it. I don't know where it goes. I'm assuming it goes back to headquarters or something like that, and they can kind of take your feedback and opinions and hopefully integrate it into the vehicle if it's something that's they're capable of doing. We've got our center console here. You can pop that out. Got a 12-volt outlet right through there, and it's pretty good actually. It's kind of deep. You got a decent amount of stuff that you can store in there. Let's take a quick look in the rear before we go for a drive. Now, while this is a pretty large vehicle, I'm 6'5" tall and had to move that front seat up quite a bit in order to get leg room. You've got netting back through here. You've got a MOLLE netting system back through here, so you can integrate different straps and store as needed. The maximum weight is 7 pounds. You got some more netting down through here. This is how you roll down the rear windows. You've got a USB and USB-C, same as the front, and then you've got a 110-volt plug through there, and then finally 2 simple little cup holders. So fairly bare bones back here, but just enough of what you need. And this MOLLE system back here is pretty cool. I don't remember seeing that on the Wildtrak. I think that comes standard in the Big Bend. Well, let's go ahead and take it for a drive. Behind the wheel and on the road in the Bronco, what are we working with underneath the hood? That is a 2.3 liter inline 4-cylinder engine producing 300 horsepower and 325 pound-foot of torque. Pretty healthy numbers unless you go all the way up to the Bronco Raptor where you get some serious horsepower numbers. The Wildtrak only gives you a 330 horsepower and 415 pound-foot of torque. So, you know, it's all within a similar ballpark there, and typically you're probably not going to use this for high performance needs. It's really going to be more of a daily driver or an off-roader. It's capable of both, definitely, and you know, it's been fun. I drove it back in 2022, the Wildtrak. That's when Bronco had just come out. It was rare, not many people had them, got a lot of attention, a lot of questions. It's just a different driving experience driving it now that you see them quite often, and it's interesting. I just passed one moments ago, and you know how Jeeps have like the Jeep wave, or Corvettes have the Corvette wave. I don't think there's a Bronco wave yet. I think they need to invent that. You know, it's almost like Bronco owners don't want to communicate with each other. I don't know. Maybe they just don't like me. You know, comment down below if that's a thing and I'm just missing out on it. But it's interesting. You know, you see other Bronco owners and you think they would want to, you know, give you some props, but doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm kind of curious why there's not that community yet. But nevertheless, it's been fun. We do have the 10-speed automatic transmission. I've not driven a manual Bronco to date. I'd be curious how that would drive, but this is fine. No paddle shifters. If you want to drive it in manual, you need to pop the gear selector back into M and then use the plus and minus on the shift knob to shift. And it's kind of bizarre. I've never actually shifted with just my thumb. It's kind of like a video game. A lot of noise out of that EcoBoost engine. I won't say it's like the best noise. It's just kind of like a noise. But it gets up and goes for sure. You know, I really haven't been flooring it a whole lot. I've really just been practically driving this thing around town, going to work, going to the grocery store, going out to dinner, going to the gym, just kind of normal scenarios. When I had the Wildtrak, I did a similar thing, but I kind of went a little bit off-roading and took it off a little jump. When I had the Bronco Raptor, I took it mudding and did donuts. This one, I kind of just was just practical with it, and it's great. I mean, I love being able to drive and not have to worry about hitting potholes, hitting bumps, clipping a curb. You know, these big 35s just demolish anything in the way, and it's a pretty smooth ride. It's got the Haas 2.0 system with the Bilstein position sensitive dampers, so it's definitely smooth out there on the road. And if you wanted to off-road, you certainly could just pop it over here on the GOAT mode selector there. So I'm gonna put it in sport right here, and we'll just kind of cruise on some of these back roads. Again, I think if someone's buying this, they're not buying it to break lap times or 0 to 60 times. It's got the horsepower, but that really just gives it capabilities for off-roading and the torque, you know. All right. Now, putting it into sport mode does put you in 4-wheel automatic, which is pretty nice, so you don't worry about it slipping at all. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. A little bit of body roll there, but then again, those Bilstein shocks definitely help kind of level out the vehicle. Again, I've had fun with it. I haven't actually taken the top off this time. I've really just kind of kept it nice and tame. It does have the sound dampening like you saw, but you still hear some feedback from the road. I think that's going to be typical with any big, you know, tires. These are all terrains, thankfully not mud terrains, so not a whole lot of worrying when you're on the road. You hear a little bit of wind noise, but sometimes it seems like if you roll down your window and then roll it back up, you know, maybe it got misaligned from the tracks, and that's why you hear a little bit of the wind kind of going through. Visibility's fine out the rear. You know, you do have that rear tire that sticks up a little bit, and then that brake light kind of cuts down there on the middle, but not really hardly any blind spots. The B-pillars are pretty thin, but it's such an expansive rear window there on that second row of seats that you can see out pretty easily. The only thing that gets in your way here is just that little grab handle. It's definitely super comfortable. We're driving this in normal mode right now. That's the cool thing about it, is you can spend all your time just driving it normal, so to speak, if you want, or switch it over on the go over any terrain mode selector there, and then go off-roading or go, you know, in the sand or whatever, you know. So it's the best of both worlds, honestly, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. But it's interesting that just in a few years, you know, now that a lot more people have bought this, it's become a bit more common that you don't get a ton of attention, which is fine. But if you're looking for that, I feel like that wave, that bubble of all the you know, excitement around them has kind of burst, and now it's a lot more common. I think if you get a unique color like this one, I've actually never seen one with this color, then you could get some attention. You add some accessories onto the different spots where you can put accessories, that would be a way to garner some more attention. So it kind of just depends on how you set it up. But if you don't want all the attention like that, then you can kind of just fly under the radar, so to speak. And, you know, it's a big vehicle, but you can still kind of remain unnoticed, especially if you got a more potentially common color. But again, it's a cool car. It's big. It's big, but it seems, you know, the road manners are that of a smaller car. I was able to easily make a U-turn there, no issue. So again, it looks big, it feels big on the inside, but out on the road, it's really not that bad. I don't feel like I'm taking up the whole lane and it's hard to maneuver. It maneuvers just fine out on the road. And you know, that is one thing I do enjoy, is with these big tires and this good suspension setup, I can hit the potholes and not worry about it. I can roll over a curb in the parking lot on accident if I need to. You know, it's just, you can really take anything, it can take anything that's thrown at it with no issue at all. Something I find interesting are the different price points. You know, I would recommend you guys go look on the website and see the differences between all of them. But from the Big Bend, which is the lowest, and the Bronco Raptor, which is the highest, there's a lot of disparity in the price, and it's kind of tough to figure out what goes in each one and why. So I would recommend you go check them out, build one. That's what I would do. I think I had a lot of fun building one, and then go test drive one and see what fits best for you. You know, see if the you know, this is enough horsepower for you. But if not, and you really want the leather, then maybe upgrade to the Wildtrak. If you really want to go all out, then get the Bronco Raptor. If you just simply want the look of it, then get this. But I think the one undisputed thing out of any of it is that the Sasquatch package is a must, because it really sets this thing up nice and just gives it just a great look. I'm sure you could probably get it without it and then maybe add aftermarket, but I feel like with the way that they have, you know, designed it and manufactured it, I feel like just to integrate it all in from the factory is probably the easiest way to go, because they spent years and millions of dollars on testing and designing and research, and you know, this is what works best on this car. Again, you could probably save a little money, finagle it yourself and put a lift kit on it maybe, or you know, aftermarket wheels and tires, but this is one thing that I'd recommend getting, and probably just go ahead and get it from the factory. Just go ahead and get the Sasquatch package. You can thank me later, because it just really sets up this vehicle aesthetically, functionally, and it's just you know, a fantastic option. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave them down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next review.